This video is a quick introduction to the Multispecies Dashboard, a free web application designed to help kiwi forest growers model and compare different exotic tree species. You can access the dashboard from any web browser at multispecies.nz. A desktop computer is recommended, as the dashboard can be a bit fiddly on a smartphone. To get started, you need to mark a location of interest on the map. You can use the plus icon to zoom in, and you can drag the map with your mouse to move around. You can also zoom in using the scroll wheel on your mouse. If you're looking for a particular location or property, then it can be helpful to switch to aerial imagery. Once you've found your location, click on the map to mark the spot. The next step is to choose your tree species. A graph will then appear showing the total amount of carbon the forest is expected to capture over time. The shaded area behind the plot represents the typical variation in growth rates for your chosen species. By default, the stocking and thinning parameters are set to typical values for each species, and the forest is assumed to be permanent. But you can adjust these parameters as you like, and the graph will update each time you make a change. There are many visualization options in the dashboard. You can see the available options by clicking on the plot menu. For example, you can view the change in carbon from year to year, or plot various tree growth metrics, such as the average tree height over time, or the average tree diameter, or the change in tree stocking. For certain species, you can also view financial projections, such as the expected cash flow over time for any given carbon price, or the internal rate of return across a range of carbon prices, or the net present value for a prescribed discount rate. By default, the dashboard assumes that forests are permanent and carbon returns are computed using stock change accounting. I'm going to lock the y-axis range and then show you how selecting the harvest option affects the carbon graph. You can see that an averaging accounting rule has been applied, where the carbon is treated as constant from the averaging age onwards. In the cash flow graph, you can see a jump in revenue at the end of each rotation. If you like, you can adjust the rotation length and cartage distance parameters to see how they affect the projected returns. One of the most useful features of the dashboard is the ability to create and compare additional scenarios using alternative species, parameters, and locations. To do this, click the Add Scenario button, and then choose your parameters as before. When working with multiple scenarios, it is sometimes helpful to turn off the uncertainty display so the graph does not get too cluttered. You can create as many scenarios as you want to, using any combination of parameters. And if you like, you can assign a label to your scenarios to help keep track of them. These labels will be shown in the legend for the graph. Once you've defined your scenarios of interest, you can use the plotting options to visualize the different outcomes and explore trade-offs. You can also use the Export button to generate an Excel spreadsheet containing the productivity indices and tree growth estimates for every scenario you defined, which is handy if you want to incorporate the projections into your own models or reports. Finally, you do not need to limit your modeling to a single location. You can mark as many points on the map as you like, and select these locations in your scenarios to compare projected outcomes around the country. That's the end of this video. We hope it helps get you started with using the Multispecies Dashboard. If you have any questions or suggestions, then please get in touch. Thanks for watching.